All right, good. So it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to get started. So the traditional annual planning process is really an arduous task. I know many of you would rather avoid. And typically the plan that you produce is complex, and it's no wonder the statistics are that 80% of the plans fail every single year. So this is a staggering number, and I know that's the reason why you're on this call. But there's a new way to get the benefits of having a plan, but at a fraction of the time, cost, and effort. I think most of you know me. There's some new faces I see on the webinar, but I'm Mark Kohler. I'm the president of Lead with Purpose. Super excited to be here with you, talk to you about the Lead with Purpose annual planning process and the top 3 actions you can take to create an annual plan that's going to get you great results in 2016. Now, this is part of the E3 Learning webinar series. Every month, we're going to share with you different ways you can use Lead with Purpose to create an engaged and empowered team. And it's called E3 because our leadership approach is to engage, empower, and encourage the people we lead and create lasting change. Now, I invite you to encourage you to invite other people on your team or in your peer groups to join this. Remember, it's free, happens monthly, 45 minutes, action-packed. So from the attendees I notice we have some people who've been using Lead with Purpose a really long time, some less than a year, and some who are new to Lead with Purpose. So I want to welcome you all. This is being recorded and will be available in about a week. So let's get going. The thing that I really want to discuss with you and talk to you about is the annual planning cycle. And what I want to do is I want to see where the group is on the webinar as it relates to the value of having a plan. So on a scale of 1 to 5, if you could just type in 5 being the most important, when you want to get results in your business, or for that matter in life or in any of your endeavors, how important is it for you to have a plan? 1's not so important, 5's really important. So just type in 5. Thank you, Luis. 5, thank you, Bill. Rick, 5. Sophie, 5. Art, 5. Aki, 5. Tim, 5. Heidi. Okay, a lot of 5. So that's great. My position is that if we want to get great results, we have to set goals. And we can set goals on anything, but we have to set goals that align with the most important things long term. And therefore, a plan is essential. Now, this is just one of the studies that I think is very interesting and proves the point. In a Scottish hospital where they were doing hip replacement surgery, there were 1,000 patients who had the surgery. They offered a detailed plan to all the patients for their recovery. Only half took advantage of it. Now, what were the results? Those who had a plan and followed it, they recovered twice as fast as those who didn't. Now, they asked the patients who used the plan, they said, what was it? They said, hey, look, I had a roadmap, number 1. Number 2 is there was a future vision I had established in my head that I was working towards. There were expectations that I would follow the plan, and I felt accountable to it. So I think on the call and looking at what you have said, we have agreement that a plan is important, and that's fantastic. So again, we're going to talk to you about Lead with Purpose, and born out of my experiences as a submarine officer and a turnaround CEO, I found the key for me to getting results was to get the team engaged and was to include them in creating a simple single-page plan. I'm going to talk about that today, and it's one that I could explain and everyone could easily understand. And I think you know this. Orchestrating your results in 2016 is not going to happen by accident. You're going to need to take control of it and orchestrate it. And it's going to be important that everyone's playing from the same page. So my goal for you is in the next 45 minutes is to share with you as much as I can and show you how the Lead with Purpose planning process is going to help you to get better results in 2016. So let's get started. Okay, I want to have a little more interaction here. What are the biggest challenges or obstacles you have in creating a successful annual plan? So we're here again, we're in December. Everyone knows, hey, we have to put a plan together. So for the current process that you're using, what are the biggest obstacles or challenges you are facing? So just type that in, please. Okay, have trouble executing? Good, Bill. Implementing the plan? Excellent, Luis. Executing the plan? Lisa, it sits in a binder all year. Sophie, it did it once 6 years ago and no visible ROI. Aki, execution. Bob, we review it once per year. Tim, things are changing so fast, it's hard to update and disseminate again. Rick, each department has their own goals. Got it. Art, yeah, recognizing if it goes off track. Tracy, need expensive consultant to lead. Heidi, hard to track progress and update. Okay, good. So there's a lot of challenges that we have and obstacles. And I want to tell you that this is exactly what I've experienced in talking with small business owners. And I want to share with you that there's really a challenge that we've all had. And we've always only had two options. We had the traditional planning process. And this was option one. The traditional planning process is built for huge organizations. Now, people talk about the value and benefit of having a traditional plan, but for most small businesses, it's way too lengthy and complex, so it makes it hard to do on your own. So what you have to do is you spend money on a facilitator, you take 4 days off site, you're in the mountains, you have fabulous team dinners, you're falling back into each other's arms to demonstrate trust, and at the end, everyone's excited and had a lot of fun, and what it's produced is a plan that sits in a binder. Now, the problem with that is you get back to the office and everything you thought was so clear in the mountains, not so clear anymore. You know, there's super valuable information in there, but you're wading through a binder to find it. It becomes way too complex, and for leaders, it becomes hard to explain and understand. So basically what happens is it goes and sits on a shelf and collects dust. And again, the statistic is that 80% of these plans never get executed. And this is a lot of what you said when I asked you that question. Now, the challenge we have is this is pretty expensive. You know, we spend $10,000 to $15,000 annually to do this. And with these challenges and experiences, there's a second option that people go to. And this is what I find a lot of people doing. They do nothing, right? And when we decide to do nothing, that can be an absolute disaster, because if we don't have a plan, we're less likely to get the results that we desire. Now, you and your team will be doing what you think is important, but it won't be aligned and it won't be focused. The urgent of the day takes over and you become inefficient. Just a couple statistics to support that. 95% of people don't understand how what they do on a day-to-day basis links to the long term. And this is what it looks like in a 50-person company. Only 3 people understand what they do links to the long-term success of the company. Now, this is a real problem because it causes these Gallup employee engagement statistics. And every single year, Gallup asks employees how happy they are, and you find out that almost 20% of the people are miserable, 50% are apathetic, only 30% are inspired. And I believe that us not having a good plan so we can show people what the big picture vision is and what the short term is, that is really causing these staggering statistics. So here's just one other one to share with you as we go through. Inc. Navigator did a study, and they talked to 600 executive teams, and they just asked them about their top 3 annual goals. They just asked them, hey, how well and how aligned are you on your top 3 annual goals? And this is executives' perception on alignment. So when they asked them that, they just said, yeah, I think we're really aligned. So the statistics came out that 64% of the teams thought that they were aligned. When they actually took a test, they were actually asked to write what the top 3 goals were for that year. The actual alignment was 2%. So this just shows that we're not being really clear with what we're talking about. This just shows that it's really important that we have a good planning process. So what are the challenges that this really causes in any business? Number one, it's not really clear. Only the owner knows the real plan. Everyone else is guessing, right? So people are unclear, they become confused, and they just try to do the best they can. What that causes is a ton of wasted energy. Everybody has different priorities, and they're not aligned around a common purpose or a shared vision. And ultimately, there's a lot of missed potential because we're wasting a lot of time. So those are the things that not having a good plan can cause in your business. So if we look at next, what's the opportunity? We believe the opportunity is to use the Lead with Purpose tools in the annual planning process. You're going to get people aligned, and basically what you're going to do is have them pulling on the same rope in the same direction. And once you're able to do that, everyone has clear priorities, and then they can better understand how their action goals link to that success. And they're going to focus and manage the day-to-day chaos much better. And then finally, you're going to have a really simple blueprint that you can explain and everyone can understand. So let's review real quickly the components of the plan, and then we'll get into how we're going to use it to create a great 2016 plan. So far, are there any questions that anyone has? No? Good. Thank you. No? Bill? Good. Rick? Sophie? Good. Okay, sounds good. Okay, this is going to be a review for the people who have been on a long time, but for those who are new, I'm going to go over this pretty fast, but it's going to be the basis for the rest of the webinar. So here we go. Lead with Purpose plan components. If we take a ladder and put our inspiring dream at the top of the ladder, and we put our values down the side of the ladder, and they are the support that we use. And we're down below is where we are today. The brand purpose is at the top. Reason we exist, the difference we make in the world. Below that is the vision. It's what the company looks like and a significant accomplishment in 10 years. Then below that are long-term goals. These are 5 years out. And these are 3 long-term goals to support reaching your vision. You have the annual goals, and there's 7 annual goals to support reaching your long-term goals. The quarterly goals, and there's 3 quarterly goals per department. We're going to really focus on the bottom 2, the annual goals and the quarterly goals, but I want to let you know it's really important for us to make sure that those annual goals and quarterly goals align with the long-term goals, blue sky vision, and brand purpose. So I know I went over that fast, but here's how it lays out on the screen. The brand purpose is there. The values are on the plan right there. The next down below is the blue sky vision. It's 10 years out. We actually do a SWOT analysis at the bottom. We have the 5-year long-term goals. There's the annual goals that support those 5-year long-term goals. And then we have the quarterly 90-day goals. And so what's interesting is that whenever Susie is working on her goal, quarterly goal, we know that it is connected to an annual goal. Annual goal is connected to a long-term goal. Long-term goal is connected to blue sky vision. Blue sky vision is connected to brand purpose. And we know that Susie knows how what she does today links to the long term. So I know that was super fast. We have other webinars that go through this a little slower, but this is the basis for what we're going to talk about next, which is actually creating the 2016 annual planning process. Okay, and all of this stuff can be found in our book, Leading with Purpose, which is online. So are there any questions we have on format? Okay, Rick, no. Sophie, no. Todd, I like it. Bob, yeah, Bob. So I'll direct you to where the webinar is. Luis, all clear. Good. Tracy, good. Okay, good. So here we go. This is really important. When I talk to business CEOs, this is the simple process that you can follow so that you can create a great 2016 annual plan. And there's some preparation that we need to do, and this preparation is key. 3 things specifically that are going to get your team bought into the plan and how it will be put together. Number 1 is I highly recommend you run a strengths and obstacles exercise. This company right here gathered the entire company. They went out and got pizza, and what they did is they broke into groups of 6 people, each at a table, and what they did is they had a big pad of paper, and first what they did, it was for about 15 minutes, what they did is they just brainstormed what are the strengths of the company. And then a representative from each one of the groups had to go up and present to the rest of the company. So this was very powerful because we got to hear different groups talk about the strengths of the company first. And I would tell you that this helps to really build leaders. It's amazing that these people who literally 2-3 years ago would not stand up and talk in front of people now feel comfortable getting up and talking about the strengths or the obstacles that a company has. So first we go through everything, and you go through and do the strengths. And here's just an example. Here's a picture of some of the obstacles, but they would go up and put that up on the page, and then they would present again to the rest of the team, and the rest of the team would listen. What you're doing here is, again, you're getting feedback from the entire company. Now, there's really not a lot of things that you're going to learn as a leader or an owner that you don't already know, but what it does, it allows them to voice their opinion and give their input, and this helps to engage them in the process. This is really, really powerful. That's the first thing you need to do. This is about an hour-long meeting. You gather all the information afterwards. Again, you go through all the strengths first, and then you go through the obstacles, gather all that information, and that's going to be the basis to help you go through and put together the 2016 annual plan. So this is step 1. Step 2 is to yourself with your leadership team have a shared vision meeting, and have a copy, a sample of a plan. And what you need to do is you gather your leadership team together, and you pull up the plan on the screen. And what you do is you go through and you're trying to figure out where you are on the annual goals for 2015. And the annual goals, if you look at my cursor, sit right here. And then the quarterly goals for Q4 of 2015 sit down here. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand what the status of those goals are. So we're going to do that first, the quarterly goals, then evaluate the 2015 annual goals. So how does that really look? If it were sales and marketing and sales went, they would go through, and sales and marketing would look and say, you can see that they have 4 completed goals. These are in blue on the plan. And then they have 3 others that are, one's at risk, one's critical, and one's on track. So right now we're on December 10th, and what you would do is project forward to December 31st, 2015. Where are these goals going to be? Then what they do is they take a look at the annual goals that they're responsible for, and we'd find out where they are in that piece. So it's really important for us to create a baseline of where we are. Now, up in this box here is really your vision for December 31st, 2015. And then down below here are all the quarterly goals of where you currently sit. So that's really important. Now, once you understand where you are, because you're trying to figure out, hey, January 1st, 2016, where am I? Once you figure that out, then what you want to do is you want to create a shared vision for 2016. And I should have highlighted in red the word shared. This is not just your vision for 2016. You want to get your people's input so they get bought into the plan. And remember, this helps to keep them engaged and keep them involved in this process. So what do you have to do? In this same meeting, what you have to do is you say, hey, look it, we understand now where we're going to end up January 1st. I want us to transform ourselves to December 31st, 2016. And what I want us to do is understand what it looks like to have looked back on 2016. And this is very similar to just as a farmer envisions his field of grain right before it is harvested, so too you must determine what it looks and feels like to be at the end of 2016. So first step we can do, and this is from the one-page plan, what you can do is you have to take a look at your long-term goals. Remember, these are 5 years out. And then what you have to do is take a look at your 2015 annual goals of where you are now. As an example, you can see here, the sales has a $5 million goal for the end of 2015. In 5 years, they want to be $15 million in sales. So they would set another goal for 2016. Maybe it would be, we're going to do 6 million in sales, or maybe they're going to do 7 million in sales. But it has to be somewhere in between this 5 and this 15. And so you'd go through and do that similarly with other long-term goals and annual goals. So that's the first step of creating the vision, is creating those 2016 goals. Next, what you do is, so we talk about goals accomplished. The other things you'd look at is what are the revenues and profit at the end of 2016. You talk about any additional people you would hire. You talk about other geographies that you might be servicing. Then you talk about other markets, and might talk about professional development that you're going to do. We're going to read this many books. Now, everyone always asks me, like, hey, what does the format of this have to look like? And it's really varied. If you're a writer and you want to write a paragraph of what the end of 2016 looks like, go ahead and write a paragraph. If you want to just put bullet points, you can put bullet points. The most important thing is that everybody understands high level what the vision is for the end of 2016. So when you are and your team now come back to where you are at January 1st, 2016, you can understand what are the seeds that you're going to lay in the ground right now so you can get to that vision at the end of the year. So that's the second thing that you have to do. That's the second meeting that you have to do. So I'm going to stop right here. Any questions on those first 2 steps? Any questions on the first step of the strengths and obstacles exercise and its importance, and any questions on creating the vision with your leadership team? Okay, Bill, no questions. Good. Todd, good. Okay, so great question. How long does the second meeting take with creating the vision? I would tell you that many of the companies are following the weekly meeting schedule. So what they're actually doing is they have a 1-hour weekly management meeting, and they're able in about 20 to 30 minutes, they're able to actually put this vision together. So I would just say you can do it in your weekly management meeting. Okay, question by Luis. On the strengths, obstacles, how long do you live for the people to present? Have for the people to present? Okay, you know, it really depends. We just let them present. There's some people who go up there and they're still a little nervous, and they run through a bunch of different stuff. So they take maybe, they might take a minute to present. and other people take 2 or 3. So if you think about it, if you have like this group had 50 employees, we had 8 groups, and it took 15 to 20 minutes for the entire company to present the strengths, and then it took another 15 or 20 minutes to present the obstacles, and it took them 15 or 20 minutes. It took them about 15 minutes to put the sheet together. So that meeting was about an hour long. So the first meeting's about an hour long. I'd recommend you get some food. You can do it over a lunch. And then the second meeting's about 30 minutes. So good question. Okay, great. So let's move on. So the next is the third meeting is department team meetings. Now the leadership team, what they do is they take the vision that was created in the leadership meeting for 2016, and they have department team meetings. And what they're doing is they're evaluating 2015 annual and 2015 Q4 goals. For the goals, you either complete them, you move them, or you delete them. Second thing is you share the best of the best for 2015 stories. People living your brand purpose, your values, and your vision. Then what you do is you share the 2016 vision that was put together in the meeting, and then you build out the 2016 annual and Q1 SMART goals. So this meeting is somewhere around 30 minutes long, and again, you as the leader, if you're a department head, you as the leader are sharing with your team the vision that the leadership team set, and then what they're doing is they're looking at it and they're building it out, and they're figuring out how they're going to accomplish and get to the end of 2016 and achieve those goals. Now, it's really important that they have a hand in understanding the 2016 annual goals, and then because then they'll be able to create better Q1 2016 SMART goals. So the preparation summary, if we take a look at it, the strengths and obstacles exercise, really important to do, and it takes about an hour. This includes everyone. Some people say, hey, I have way too many people in the company. I would say that you would send out a survey, send out a survey monkey, just a real quick, hey, what are our strengths? What are our obstacles? We're actually using this in our 2016 planning. The next meeting is to create a shared vision. Again, this is about 30 minutes long. This is just a leadership team. And before you get into this meeting, have everyone go online and update their Q4 goals and the 2015 annual goal status. And again, 15, 30 minutes, you're talking about a shared vision of what it looks like at the end of December 31st, 2016. And then you set the departmental and transition meeting expectations. And then finally, we just talked about this as the departmental team meetings. This is about, 30 minutes to an hour, and every department should do this. And again, there's the agenda. Evaluate the 2015 goals, best of 2015 stories, share the 2016 shared vision, and then they would work on the annual and Q1 SMART goals. Now, the department team meetings, the last piece of that, the annual and Q1 SMART goals, we want them to prioritize what are the top 3 goals. It's really important for us to prioritize. The 2016 annual goals, Q1 SMART goals will then be presented in the actual annual transition meeting that the leadership team is going to go through. All right, so just shared a lot with you on that. When we take a look at this preparation summary, what's the biggest takeaway you have? Okay, Todd, seems straightforward. Good. Okay, Lisa, you like the strengths and obstacles exercise? Yeah, really, that's so important because, and many people skip that, but it's so important because you're just asking them for their feedback and their input. And there's always, every once in a while, you do find 1 or 2 things that really helps out. So don't just say, hey, that's only an hour and I'm just asking these people and I already know the answers to it. That's what this is about. It's about engaging people. Good, Luis. It sounds like good planning. Good. Aki, I'd like to share this with clients. Okay. Art, great question. 3 goals seems too limiting for complex companies. Okay, so I misspoke. So I'm glad you said something. You can have more goals. I want to know what the top 3 are, though. I want to know what are the top 3 because, I go into so many companies and they have 8 goals. And then I say, hey, look, if push comes to shove and you have to make a choice, what are the top 3 goals? So great question by Art. He said, he asked the question, 3 goals seems too limiting. The annual goals, yeah, there's about 7 or 9. I still want those prioritized, top 1, 2, 3. And then the Q1 SMART goals, 3 to 5 goals, and those are prioritized too. Erica, can you give real-world examples of how you helped companies do the strengths obstacle part of the process? I can see this stymieing some companies. Yeah, it's really simple. It's really informal. And so I've done this with many companies. I would tell you, you as a leader, what you have to be open to is you have to be open to criticism. Some people say, oh, I don't want to hear from them anymore, that it's too hot or it's too cold in the manufacturing plant. You just have to be open to hearing what they have to say, and then you have to be willing to address it or understand it or take action on it. That's the first step. We talk about 3 things, right, that we need to do to have a winning 2016 annual plan. These preparation meetings are key. Don't skip over these, right? It's important that we get people involved. When we get people involved, we get them engaged. When they feel they've had a hand in putting the plan together, it's more likely that that plan is going to come true. And you're going to learn some really neat insights into what their day is and what their challenges are and the things they do really well and the things they want help with. Okay, so there's about 1 week in between. I would recommend that you then take the strengths and obstacles meeting information, summarize it, type it up, put it together in a Word document, take the shared vision, and the department team leaders will come back and your leadership team will meet for a 2016 annual planning meeting. This meeting takes about 4 hours to do. It's only a half day. So your entire 2016 annual planning meeting is going to take about a half day to do, and we're going to go through that right now. So the planning meeting agenda is this. Storytelling is about 30 minutes. And again, we'll go through this, and I have an entire agenda for you if you're interested, and I can send it to you. So storytelling is about 30 minutes. Everyone's to come with the top 3 stories of 2015 of people living their brand purpose, their values, and their vision. Number 2 is you're going to review the brand purpose, values, and vision itself and look at them and try to understand, hey, are we still saying this correctly? Is this still really valid? I had one company that after 4 years of doing this, they used to have 5 values, and they cut one of the values out and they put it down to 4 because they just thought that wasn't as important as the other ones, and it wasn't really one of their values. So this is just a quick review of your brand purpose, values, and vision. Then there's a SWOT review. Go through and do a SWOT analysis. This is really important to do because of the changing landscape that we continually live in. Then everybody's going to be given 15 minutes to talk about 2015 annual successes and their Q4 2015 successes. And then they're going to be 15 minutes per person to talk about what their department had put together for the 2016 annual and Q1 goals. So that is the agenda. I have actually, that pixelated a little bit. So I actually have an entire agenda, and it talks about each one of those pieces and when you're engaging, encouraging, and empowering. So I'll get a better image of this, but if you're interested in getting this, just let me know, and I'll send you a copy of it. This is the agenda for the annual meeting. So let's go through this real quick. Talk about sharing the best stories. How do you do that? You should have a bunch of stories if you're following one of the best practices of Lead with Purpose. This is an example of a campfire wall. All of those little tickets that are taped to the board are stories of people living the brand purpose, the values, or the blue sky vision. So you can go to your campfire board or storyboard you have set up in your office, and you can look at those and just pull those. But this is a great visual for you to go back to, and that's why it's so powerful, because these build up over the entire year, and it's just amazing to see. And you don't want to forget the great things that people are doing. So that's number 1. Okay, so I talked about going through and looking at these, the brand purpose, the values, and again, the blue sky vision. We're just looking at them, and are they as simple as possible? So just go through and review that, take a look at it. It's not an entire rehashing of it, but these are the boxes that you would look at to do that. Next, do a SWOT review. This is at the bottom of the plan. Are these strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats still relevant? Are there any changes in priority? Does anything need to be added? On your weaknesses, if you have the weakness as a processes for 2015, did you work on a lot of different processes? And so is that really your top weakness anymore? So you need to go through and look at this. Are there any goals that need to be created based upon this new SWOT? So that's the SWOT analysis that you go through. That's about 30 minutes. And then you have your 2015 annual goals that people are going to go through and talk about their successes. And they're taking a look at the annual goals that are here. And then what they're doing is they're going through and then talking about the quarterly goals that they've had accomplishments in Q4 2015. So again, it's just 15 minutes. Here's what we did really well in 2015. Here's what our accomplishments were in Q4. Next part of the meeting is to then lay out what the departments, each of the departments worked on, and what they're looking at is 2016 annual goals. Each person's given 15 minutes to talk about the 2016 annual goal, and then also, as sales might have, their 2016 Q1 goals. And Art, I probably should have had this slide earlier, but we recommend 5 to 7 total annual goals for smaller companies. For larger companies, you could have 7 to 9. And we recommend 3 Q1 goals per department in Q1 2016. So the second step, the 2016 annual planning meeting, it's all about storytelling and building your culture and strengthening your culture. Number 2, it's a SWOT review. Number 3, it's celebrating 2015 annual and Q4. And number 4, it's about setting the 2016 annual roadmap, goals, and what's going to happen in Q1. So I'm going to stop right there. I just shared a lot with you. This is the second critical piece of creating a winning 2016 plan. So any questions that you have? Okay, Rick, self-explanatory, good. Bill, very much like the Q3 to Q4 transition. Yes, exactly. The big difference between the Q3 to Q4 transition versus the annual transition is you spend a little bit more time in each area, and additionally, you spend a little more time just reviewing and sitting on your brand purpose, vision, and values and talking through those. But yeah, that's what's so powerful about it is this same exact process is exactly what you do for quarterly transitions, just slightly modified. So it shouldn't be anything that's really new to companies. Okay, good. Lots of info. Thanks. Luis, good. Art, good by me. Good. Tim, good. Tracy, makes sense. Rick has made a big difference in our company over the last 3 years. That's great to hear. You guys are doing a great job. Okay, and then a key, this meeting is about 4 hours. Yes, it's about 4 hours long. I'd highly recommend you have lunch around it. So you could start it at 9 o'clock and end at 1 and have lunch brought in. Could you expand on the rollout plan? Yes, I'm actually going to get into that one next. I have a slide to talk about that. So within the week of doing that, you need to put all the goals in Lead with Purpose and print out that plan. And within a week, you need to roll it out to the entire company. And here's what's really important. It has to be within a week. Don't wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? People spend a lot of time and put energy into the preparation meetings and the strengths and obstacles exercise that they were part of. So let's give them something back and show them that what they put together and what it helped to produce. So this is rolling out the 2016 plan. This is typically when we do quarterly transitions and you need to roll out the quarterly plan, it's about 15 to 20 minutes. This is a little bit longer. This is about 25 to 30 minutes. Every leader should stand up and present their department's 2015 successes and then also just talk about the vision and the goals for 2016 and who's involved in helping to complete those goals. Now, it's successful if everyone understands how their quarterly goals in Q1 of 2016 link to the end of 2016 annual goal, because this is going to create engagement and alignment. And I would recommend you print it out, hang the plan around the office, and then in monthly all-hands meetings, just keep reviewing the plan like you have been, the habit that we have of the monthly all-hands meeting. So I have a question here. Erica, can this part be broken into smaller meeting? Does it have to be a single 4-hour meeting? You could break it into 2 meetings. I don't know how efficient that would be because what you have to do is then you have to gather everyone back together, Erica, and then you have to reset. It's going to take people 15, 20, 30 minutes to get reset back into the meeting again. So I would highly recommend that you do it and get it done in 4 hours. You can obviously split it up into a bunch of different meetings. I'm not sure how efficient that would really be. If we take a look at, these are the 3 steps that you need to take so that you can create a winning 2016 annual plan. The preparation meetings up front, the 2016 annual planning meeting, and then rolling out of the plan. So I've talked about those three things, but what do you think is the most valuable for you and how you would implement this in your company, or if you're a coach, we got a lot of great coaches online, how you would help companies to create a winning 2016. Okay, Rick, you really like the structure. Yeah, it's very simple. And again, this is street proven. This has been used by thousands of business owners. Okay, Sophie, you really like the strengths and obstacles exercise. Good. Okay, Tim, yeah, it's really only a 4-hour meeting. Aki, good. Structure and the timing you like? Good. Yeah, if you're a coach and remember that thing up front where it costs, $15,000, $20,000 to go 4 days off site and you produce a plan that's in a binder. Imagine being able to go to a client and say, hey, look, I can work with you for a lot less and produce some great results. And think about how it's going to change the value that you can provide for your clients. Art, a logical, complete approach. Good. What I'm going to do before I wrap up, I'm going to move into a Q&A, and I want to talk to you about some of the resources that we have for you. It's on a scale of 1 to 5. How likely is it, do you think, that you'd be able to implement these 3 actions to create a winning 2016 plan? I just want to understand how likely. 1 would be sort of struggling with it. 5 would be, I feel really good about it. Rick, good. 5. Oh, that's excellent. Aki asks, are you willing to share this presentation so I can use it to sell the program? Yeah, absolutely. All the presentations are available and the video will be available next week. Okay, Aki, plan is not the issue for me, it is execution. Yeah, so what the plan allows you to do, it gives you a shot at orchestrating a winning 2016 plan. And again, it's not going to happen by accident. And everybody has the same challenge every single day. I wake up every single day. I got thousands of things flying at me. And what I do is I take a look at that plan and it grounds me. And it provides me the direction to say, when things are really calm, these are the things that are going to make the biggest difference. Because what happens is for everybody on this phone call, the urgent becomes the important. And that's not always right. All right, so I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for sitting in on how to orchestrate a winning 2016 plan. Remember, the 3 key things that you need to do is, number 1, create a common shared vision with your leadership team. Number 2 is get the half-day 2015 to 2016 planning session done. And 3, and really probably the most important, is make sure you roll this out to the rest of the company so they have a clear vision of what success looks like in 2016. Next, we're going to talk about new resources that we have, and I'm going to open it up afterwards to Q&A. So here we go. Resources and Q&A. So number 1 is, if you'll probably notice that underneath the hamburger, and yes, that is the technical term I've been told by my technology team, the 3 horizontal lines. If you look at the hamburger, if you click on it, if you go to plan resource, we have a plan resources section right now. And underneath that plan resources section is a set of videos, and we're going to create more of them, but we have 3 underneath there right now. 1 is on initial setup. It's about a 5 or 6 minute video. Teaches you everything you need to do to set up your plan. You need to invite people. You need to set up departments. So if you ever need to change someone who's connected to the plan, or you ever need to change a department header and heading on the plan, this is where you would go. The next video that we have is on the leadership section. It teaches you everything about all the functionality in the leadership section, and there's a lot of great stuff there. And then the third one is the management section, and most of you will probably be using that because it teaches you how to move goals around. It teaches you how to duplicate goals. It gives you insights on how to create cascading goals over different time periods. So this is the getting started videos, and they are under the resources piece. Number 2 is we rolled out a new website a couple weeks ago, and we're really excited about it. It's much cleaner, it's easier to understand, and we're going to put more of what you need at your fingertip. And we've rolled out that we have a solopreneur plan. This is a free plan for one person only. And the 3 paying plans, the $49, $99, and $149, now all have 60-day free trials, and no credit card needs to be put in. Now, for all 3 of these plans, we are opening it up to unlimited read-only users. So the next one is give the gift of purpose, leading with purpose. We launched it 2 months ago. We've actually, I actually went online this morning. Someone sent me an email and said, hey, the book sold out. They need to order more. So Amazon's ordering more from our distributor. but we've already won a couple awards, USA Best Book Awards finalists for 2015, and then Barnes & Noble Bookseller recommends for the business, leadership, and management section, they said that our book was the #1 book to read. So some great awards. It's being really well received, and it's a great resource for you to use for planning. In the back of it, there's 7 best practices that you can use so you can create an engaged and empowered team and make best use of the legal purpose plan that you have online. This is for our California state companies. We just found out that our training, Leading with Purpose and Use of Lead with Purpose, was approved by the California State Training Reimbursement Program. Now, we applied for this about 8 or 9 months ago, and it's really interesting. It's up to $1,500 per employee get reimbursed every single year for training that they do. So there's 29 types of businesses that can apply for this. There's software, construction, healthcare. There's even a category that says if 25% of your revenues from out of state. So this is a really neat opportunity. I want to make sure that our California companies are aware of this, and we're really proud that it got reimbursed. If you're interested in learning more about it, I can make the connection for the person at the state who's running the program. So that's the fourth thing as it relates to a resource. Okay, so if you look at the resources that I just talked about, what's most appealing to you? We take a look at the resources that we just talked about. What's most appealing to you? Okay, Bill, the state training funding program. Okay, Bob, the new website. Yeah, new website's cleaner. The solopreneur plan is a great opportunity. The free 60-day trials. We're super excited for that. Good, yeah. Aki, we should get as many of, Aki says, I want to get as many of my clients on this as possible, free solo. Exactly. Think about it, Aki. You can have them use a free plan, and they don't need to buy a copy of the book, but if they bought a copy of the book for $20 and they have a free plan for the rest of their life, you could help really change the trajectory of their life for the next 40 to 50 years. And that, for me, that's just super exciting. Okay, Rick, the 60-day trials, good. Okay, the meeting structure, yeah, very good. Tracy, state training funding program, please send me information. Yes, Tracy, I'll follow up with you, and we can do that. Art, the videos, yeah, super. Yeah, it's been super helpful. Okay, I'm going to open it up to a Q&A right now, and I would be remiss if I did not include this slide, because this is what Lead with Purpose is all about. Is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And Lead with Purpose is about going far and going together. And so if you drop off the line, it's okay. I'm going to just open it up to a general Q&A here. But I want to wish each of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Really enjoy this special time with your family and your friends. And 2016 is going to be just a fantastic year. All right, so I'm going to open it up to questions. Okay, what questions do you have on using Lead with Purpose? Okay, Bill, that's a really good question. So I'm going to try to paraphrase this. Bill, your question is on doing the transition between 2015 and 2016 with the annual goals. And you say that underneath the management tab, you have a lot of annual goals from 2014, 2015, and now 2016, and how do I hide the 2015 and 2014? Actually, at the top of the slide, there's a slider that's at the top, and what you can do is you can select what you want to view. So you can automatically select and say, hey, look, I just want to see from 2015 Q2 forward, or I just want to see from 2015 Q4 forward. Right? So what that'll do is that helps you to keep and maintain all of the information that's there, but then it helps you to just focus on the things that you need to focus on. So there's a slider at the top of the page. All you have to do is click down on the options underneath the management page, and what you can do is you can adjust that slider to just show those dates. And this is the first time we're doing this, so Bill, you just made me think of something that I should just actually do this live. I won't try that right now, but I should actually do this live, so when you ask me a question, I can actually show you it. Okay, so I have another question here. how do I, when I put in the, Lisa's asking, when I put in the 2016 goals, how do I go to the one-page view and then view those 2016 goals? And by the way, it's a great question. When you go to the one-page view, the second box over says quarter to view. And so what you do is you just click on that, and it's right underneath the plan name, right at the top underneath or above your values. And what you do is you just click on that, and what you can do is you can fake the plan out and have it go to a different time period that you'd want to see. So if you go to 2016 Q1, what it's going to do is it's not going to show the 2015 annual goals, and what's going to show is just the 2016 annual goals, and it's going to show the Q1 2016 quarterly goals. One thing that you have to understand is that that sets as a default, and that default, when you come back again, if you set it to Q3 2016, it'll stay in Q3 2016. So just be aware of that. It doesn't default back to the current day. Does that answer your question? Okay, good. Okay, so John, you have a question on inviting people to the plan. John, I'll answer the question, but this is what's great about the videos in the resources page. What we have there is, if you watch that video, it teaches you how to do that. But what you do is you just go to the hamburger and you go down and you go to the plan administration. And then from plan administration, you go all the way down to plan users. Down there is where there's a button that says you can invite a user. So when you go down there, you just invite a user, you put their name in, and then you put their email address in, and automatically an email invitation will be sent. They'll accept that invitation. So does that answer your question? Okay, good. The plan setup video, the first one, is probably 6 minutes long. The leadership video is, I think, 7 to 8 minutes long. And then the management video is similar. It's about 7 to 8 minutes long. So if you get a chance, watch those. It's jam-packed with information. There's so much functionality that's in there. And we haven't really done a good enough job of sharing with you all the different things that you can use and how you can use the tool to effectively manage and move goals around. Because here's what happens. Things change throughout the year, and we want to make it really simple for you to be agile and move things around. So if you get a chance, I'd highly encourage you to watch those 3 videos. So someone asked a question that when I was showing the screenshot, that in my menu there was an extra tab called Plan List, and she doesn't have Plan List. Heidi, you actually have your plan, and we have managers who are managing multiple plans. So what that is that plan list allows you to manage multiple plans. So that's what you were seeing. Now in the future, what we're coming up with in the next quarter is owners are going to have the ability to have multiple plans also. Multiple plans could be, I have 2 different businesses and I want to run them, and I want to just go to one place where I can get them, right? Multiple plans also going to be in Q2 of this coming year. We're going to roll out a one-page family plan. And that's super exciting for us. It's currently in beta right now, and just the feedback has been really, really exciting about helping families to get focused and aligned around a set of common values and family rituals that really help to build that family culture. So we're going to come out with a new landing page where you're going to be able to go, hey, I want to get into Litton Industries, your company, I want to get into Litton Industries, and then I want to get into Heidi's family plan. And you'd be able to select and move between those 2. Does that answer your question? You're not being penalized, and you're not being or you're not missing out on something right now. But it's just something that we have for the certified coaches who are using Lead with Purpose to help their clients get better results. Tim, so you asked a question about duplicating goals. What I would recommend that you do if you have you're talking about an annual sales goal and you have quarterly goals that are underneath it, and you want to be able to duplicate those quarterly goals. Right now, we don't have a super easy way to do that, where you just say create 4 goals, 1 per quarter. We are working on that. That is in our development pipeline. But the best thing you can do is to create the annual sales goal, create the Q1 goal. So say the annual sales goal is 20 million and you're going to go 5 million per quarter. You can create the annual goal of $20 million in revenue. Underneath it, create the quarterly goal for Q1 as $5 million in revenue. And then what you can do is you can go over to the right of that quarterly goal, click on the down arrow and it'll say duplicate goal. I just recommend you duplicate that goal, and then you just need to change the date of the duplicated goal to the end of Q2. And you might want to change the name to say Q2. And then you can do the same for duplicating a goal for Q3 and Q4. So that's the best way to do it right now. So does that help you? Does that answer your question? Okay, perfect. So I don't see any other questions right now. So again, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we're really excited about 2016, and thank you for your involvement in Lead with Purpose. So go out and make it a great day.